I'm Katie Williamson, certified life fulfillment coach.
And I'm Lauren Evangelo, a seriously self-taught entrepreneur. And this is where we share real life, have real conversations as two very real women.
In this space, we're going to cut through the bullshit from society and in our own heads and peel back the layers of who we are, why we're here, and how you can do the same in your own life.
Let's get beyond the bowl.
Okay, here we go. We were talking about procrastination.
Yes.
I have no notes.
Yes, we're just going to wing it today and see what comes up.
I'm having some technical difficulties here. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but I'm in a fish islands today and I'm completely dead and washed out. But we're going with it. This is what we got. So it is what it is. I'm here.
Yes. Happy that we're here. Happy that we're doing this. Like Lauren said, talking about procrastination today and just kind of, I guess as I was thinking about this topic too, what was coming to mind for me was our little intro deal where it says, we have real life, real conversations as two real women. And I feel like for me anyway, this topic today is just real life because I'm right in the middle of it.
Oh, me too. I think I'm like on the verge of getting out of it.
That's good.
Like, starting to get, my shit together again. So, but I just went through it or am going through it. I'm not quite sure yet.
Yeah. I definitely am in it because I've had the same thing on my to-do list for almost 2 weeks now. And I just keep moving it to the next day.
Nothing, man. My to-do list can stay the same for months sometimes.
Oh, goodness. No, I usually like when something comes to mind that I want to get done and I have I guess this goes back to what we've been talking about. I have my reason why, and I know it's important, like I can just knock it out. But there are some things that, man, it's like pulling teeth. And to be honest, for me, like social media and marketing, that's the place where I am super procrastinating right now. Or at least at the time of this recording.
Yeah, that's exactly why I hired a social media manager, because that's never been my strong suit either. But so I feel you on that one.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I think for me, because I think this is a double-edged sword. Like I'm very much a thinker. And so I try and peel back the layers of like, okay, what's really going on here? Like, am I having some resistance to this? What am I resisting? Why am I holding myself back? And blah, blah, blah. And it's funny because one of my main mentors that I work with and have been working with for about 5 years now, he'll tell me sometimes, he's like, Katie, that does not matter. Like the why, the trying to figure out the reasons, like blah, blah, blah. Actually, I should rephrase that. He doesn't tell me that. He asks me if that's actually helpful or in whatever way he does it. Because I remember asking him, like, does it really matter for me to find out like the reason why I'm not doing something? And he's like, well, is that going to make you do it? I'm like, I mean, it might, but it'd probably take less time if I actually just did the thing instead of tried to figure out why I'm not doing the thing,
Yes.
Oh gosh, my mind, I swear. It's crazy.
So you still haven't done the thing?
No. Well, actually, let me just celebrate because I did do part of it. I got the idea. I mean, it's okay. I say that like it's some novel idea. It's not a novel idea whatsoever. But I started thinking like last week, you know what? Maybe it is time that I have like a separate Instagram account that is Katie Williamson Coaching. And my Facebook page actually points to like the coaching and kind of having everything do a better job of explaining what I actually do, because I feel like I've kind of kept that like under the surface,
Kind
or
of
like,
mysterious.
I know.
Mysterious.
I'm so mysterious, but let me tell you, being mysterious is not helpful for business growth, okay? So I'm like, gosh, I gotta put myself out there and like really talk about what it is that I do and why it's so important to me, especially as I'm working with clients and like they have these breakthroughs, and that's why I do what I do. And it's just super awesome. And I know, or I believe that one of the things that kind of holds me back, to be honest, is um like, which, oh, it's such a stupid reason. And I know I'm judging it before it even comes out. So,
Yeah, it's not
um,
good.
but like, one of the things that holds me back is I get really frustrated seeing other people in kind of the coaching realm or the health coaching realm, or even just like the influencer realm, who aren't authentic, or they don't really know what they're doing. And I like, I mean, I'm my own worst critic, and I know what's held me back in the past is like, I don't want to be that inauthentic voice out there, even if nobody else knows, but like, I want to make sure that I'm walking the walk, and like that the things that I talk about are, one, are true and real, and also that I know that they're real because I have experience in it too, um
Yeah.
like that
Can
is
I just
just,
share? I
yeah.
want to share something with you.
Okay.
This is one of the quotes that I live by, and I think it applies beautifully to what you're going through. It's we won't be distracted by comparison if we are captivated with purpose.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And I think you need to remember that. Just focus on you, darling.
Well, I mean, I don't say that as in like, I I mean, I guess it is a form of comparison. But it's
You don't want to be like all of those other ones
who are
that
inauthentic.
were
So
in.
to me, it's like I want to make sure that like everything accurately reflects me. Maybe that's the problem, is I'm just always changing, so I can't figure out like what my vibe and aesthetic is supposed to be on Instagram, because I'm like, ugh,
Maybe you should
vomit,
just have it
ew.
ever changing and growing right along with you. I mean, what else can you do?
It's true.
That's not
It's true.
bad. That's not
I
bad.
guess.
You
I
know how
guess.
fun it is to look back at memories and see where you started and see how far that you've come? Sometimes
No,
I
because
love it when the shit that I did in the past is just so awful because it's just like, wow, I've come so far. I mean, look at how it used to be. And I
yeah,
just love to see that growth.
that's true. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm getting to the point now, you're talking about like to be captivated by your purpose.
Yeah.
I have such a big reason for, why I want to be out there, and I want people to know what I do, and to be encouraged by just the lessons that I've learned and the things within me that I really do believe I'm meant to share and encourage. Um, and so I did create a new Instagram account, and I did change my handle on Facebook. So it's there. And I also just want to give, a big shout out to those of you who followed me already without me even reaching out or have any content.
I feel so bad I haven't even followed you yet. The
It's
first thing I'm gonna do
okay.
after this is
I
off. I'm gonna get
didn't
on social media. I'm gonna follow you.
I didn't tell anybody, and I didn't post anything about it. So how would anybody know? That's why when I see like, oh, so and so is following you, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. I'm such a dork.
I'm gonna be the
Um,
next one.
okay, okay. So yeah, that's
So you
I'm
did something.
what was that?
I said, so you did your something then. Something is better than nothing when it comes to procrastinating.
Okay, yes, that is true. And I won't say but, I will say and add to that. Yes, I did create the Instagram account. And yes, I did link that to my Facebook and change the Facebook handle, blah, blah, blah. And I got to get my act in gear because, my next step is really generating leads. Because I mean, at the end of the day, let's be real. Like, I'm not going to get any clients if one, nobody knows about me, and two, nobody's coming to even ask or inquire about the coaching that I do, whether it's health coaching or discovering your purpose or like mindset, competition, coaching. You know what I mean? Like, if nobody knows about it or what it is, then
Yeah, think about all those people out there that need you right now that don't know you exist yet.
I know. That's why I got to put it out there.
That's
So
motivating right there.
that's what I've been procrastinating on, is just starting to post and put some like marketing packages together. I did, however, talk about doing something is better than nothing. This morning, I did a few takes on kind of my why, like, why do I do holistic health coaching? Why is that important? And kind of what's the difference of what I do versus somebody else? Probably a lot to edit, to be honest, because it was a lot of takes and probably like 15 minutes total, just with all the different. It's not 15 minutes of usable content, let me tell you that. Okay. um, but yeah, so I'll start putting that together, which is cool. And yeah, because like there is a reason why I am doing what I do the way that I do it, and that's what I really want to share with people. So,
Yeah, well, the reason I say I'm kind of hopefully getting out of it, my whole procrastination phase right now, because I'm usually not a procrastinator. Um, I know I say I put things off on my to-do list for months, and I have. I've done that before. I have one thing on my list that I've been putting off for months, but for the most part, I'm really good about getting all my stuff done and even ahead of time because I like to be very well prepared. But oh my gosh, I really dropped the ball this year.
you say it like it's
Because this has been an issue I've been dealing with all year because of my procrastination.
Lauren, we're like 8 weeks in. Don't throw the whole year under the bus.
It feels like it's been a whole year, okay?
Okay, so how can you reframe that first of all?
Okay, I know I'm being dramatic. I'm sorry. How can I reframe it?
Yeah. You make it sound like the whole year is like throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Oh no, it's been a learning experience. I'm gonna say that. It's
Nice.
been a great learning experience.
Do you want to
So
talk about it?
anyway, let me tell you what happened.
Okay.
Okay, so this whole past, I don't know, what's it been, 6 months or so, I've been getting interns from Fresno State dietetics program at my meal prep business. So they've been helping me cook and stuff, and also with content and nutrition and all kinds of stuff. So I got 2 of them every 3 weeks, and I basically relied on them like as employees, like they were my help, and I knew that it was going to end eventually, and I was going to run out of interns for a few months because summer break and there's no school, and I wouldn't get a new cohort until August or whatever when the new semester started. And the date that I thought I was going to get my last interns ended up being a couple months earlier than expected. And all of a sudden, I didn't have any on the schedule. And I was like, oh, crap. That means no help at work. Okay. So I got the schedule a good month or two before, I knew we weren't going to have anybody. But did I hire anybody? No. Did I line up any new people to come in? No. I just sat on it. And yeah, I dug myself into a very deep hole. So it got to the point where next week I have no help and I have, 600 or 700 meals to make. and I wanted to kill myself. Not really, but for not taking care of this. And I was just panicked. I was like, oh my God. So I finally found two volunteers like last minute who have been with me for 4 or 5 weeks now. And I realized like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. I can't deal with the stress of not knowing if I'm going to have help, when I'm going to have help, for how long, it was just killing me. So I had to last minute scramble, figure out how to hire somebody because I've never actually hired. I was looking into workers' comp and payroll and taxes and insurance and unemployment and all this crap you have to know in order to hire somebody. And I was figuring all that out in a matter of days, maybe a week. And I had to panic hire somebody pretty much. And it's been one of like the worst business experiences I've ever been through. And I know that it was my fault, I was just procrastinating on really taking care of an issue that I knew was going to come up. I knew it was going to happen. And I can't even tell you why I did that with that situation when I'm normally so good about not procrastinating on these things.
Yeah.
Really resistant maybe to bringing somebody into my home, like that's going to be there long term. I don't know, maybe that was it, but.
So what ended up happening?
So funny side story, my first two people I scheduled to interview stood me up, which actually turned out to be a good thing. I took that as a sign that I really wasn't ready to hire because I really hadn't thought about what role they would play and what I needed and all that. And so that really made me take a step back for a good 2 or 3 days and really just take a breath, slow down, really think about things. And once I get everything figured out, I reposted the job. And the first gal I interviewed, I really loved her. Aw, hey baby.
It's being so cuddly right now.
Aw. So yeah, so I ended up hiring her, and so far it's working out great. And she's, interested in growing in my company and taking on more responsibility. And so, I mean, it's only been 1 week, so we'll give it some time and we'll see, but I'm excited about her.
Nice.
But yeah, the whole journey of getting to that point, oh my gosh.
So what's your takeaway from that? What's your lesson?
Don't procrastinate. I don't know. Well, I mean, first of all, I learned a whole bunch about employment laws, and I know how to hire somebody now, which is awesome.
That's good.
But like internally, I would say maybe pay a little bit more attention to the reasons why you're avoiding things.
It's so funny that you say that, because remember earlier I said sometimes like the reasons don't really matter. You just got to do it.
I was thinking that as it was coming out of my mouth. Okay, you guys don't know anything about. We had a conversation before
I think we recorded it.
Did we? Did we record
it? It was in the recording. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think. Well, if it wasn't it was in the recording.
Oh, okay. Where we talked about sometimes you just need to do something and it doesn't matter the reason why. But I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of right now off the top of my head. But like I said, I'm still kind of in it. I'm still kind of dealing with the effects of it and the aftermath. And I don't feel fully recovered yet. And so I don't think I've really had time to process what the full lesson is coming off of this. But maybe we'll find it by the end of the episode.
Maybe. Yeah, it's funny. I think sometimes I know I get kind of caught up in like I was saying earlier, thinking that there's always a reason or, looking for the deeper why and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it's like, well, you just got to do it, or, look back and see like, oh, that actually didn't really work, And one thing that's coming to my mind right now, like just thinking about for me these last few months and launching my business and doing a lot of things that like I've never done before. And I just kind of had to, I guess what like my mindset has come down to is like just be persistent and consistent and trust that the outcome will come from the intentional action. And in the beginning, like I felt like I couldn't really see any forward progress. I mean, this relates to everything for me. Like, I especially see this in jujitsu too, to be honest. But it wasn't until like all of a sudden, to be honest, it kind of happened last week. One of the other things I was really procrastinating on was creating these email templates. So that way, when I did get a new client, like it was going to be super easy to sign them up. Because sometimes there was like, especially like with starting out and I'm doing all the admin stuff. And it's like, I want to make sure that, my clients feel like they're having a professional experience with me. I don't want people to be wondering like, okay, well, I paid, like what's next? Or okay, I verbally committed, but what's next? And so anyway, I finally created these templates. And so I had this like introductory session with someone, and she ended up signing up for coaching. And it was kind of late. I had had a long day. We got off the call, and part of me was like, oh, I just want to go. I just want my day to be done, and I want to go lay down. But then the other part of me was like, no, I would really like to be professional. I'm going to follow up with everything. And it was just so awesome because when I went to follow up, I realized, oh, yes, way to go. Week ago, Katie, like you created these email templates. So guess what? I just followed up with the client right after. It took me less than 10 minutes to get everything done. And it's like, I realized that I was having resistance to creating these email templates and on because I was seeing it as admin work. But as soon as I had that experience of like, oh gosh, this was so easy, like I was so energized because like the process was fun. Like I had a system in place that made me look super good, I think, and was easy because I had taken, 15 minutes or whatever a few weeks ago to create these email templates. So that weekend, actually, I went through and updated and created templates for all of my coaching contracts, like different length of time of coaching, level of coaching, but I have them all created. I put them all into DocuSign and put the as templates, like formatted them all. And then I put in all of my like coaching packages in the program that I use for invoicing so people can pay online and all of that. So next time it's going to be even easier because everything is ready to go. And I like triple check to make sure all the prices were correct and all that. So it was just so cool because I love improving processes. So that was one instance where like I changed my mindset, to make it to help. And I couldn't really see that when I was in it. Like I didn't experience that joy of moving forward.
Yeah, it sucks actually having to do the work. Feels like you're dragging your feet through mud sometimes.
Well, when I saw it as admin work, it did. But when I connected it to like, oh, I'm going to make this so easy for myself in the future, like then it kind of became a game. And so that was really cool to see. And it's like looking back over these last few months, I think what else energizes me and encourages me, I've actually had this mindset for a long time. I'm trying to think of like, how do I actually phrase it? But basically like, I just think about, this isn't the right phrasing, but what comes to mind is like, yeah, but what if I do make it? Like the odds might be slim, but what if I do make it? Like if I don't try, I won't know. So yeah, I'm going to step out in faith and just try. So I guess that's my encouragement for myself with social media. Like, yeah, but what if I do help people,
Yes.
Which is cool. But anyway, yeah, so it's neat to think back and, I remember like a year ago when I was working with my mentor, it might be longer now, and we were talking about business stuff. And he was like, Katie, what I'm seeing is like there's some mindset stuff that you need to work on and like really build that foundation before you can even get to this, like basically like the doing tasks of building a business. Like there was some identity stuff inside that had to shift. And so we spent a lot of time on that. And it kind of sucked because I was like, yeah, but that's what I want to be doing. I don't want to be doing this stuff. Like, I want to be doing that stuff over there, and it's kind of like with jujitsu, when you're trying to learn how to shrimp and like do all these basic things. And it's like, yeah, but I want to be rolling like
I want to
them.
break people's arms and choke them unconscious.
No, I'm like, I
I
want
want
to
to
sweep like they can. How come I can't knock them over? Like, ugh. But, you just got to show up and put in the work. And it's about that consistency. It's not about having like 1 2 hour session a week and going crazy. It's about like, spending an hour every day working on it. And so, it's cool to look back and be like, man, good job being so persistent and consistent, Kate. Cause like, look at where we're at now, like,
Do you think like persist or more consistency is related to procrastination? Like if the more consistent you are, the less you tend to procrastinate, maybe? Or like maybe like if you have something you're procrastinating on, breaking that down into small steps to consistently get the ultimate action done.
yeah, that's what I
Definitely
would say. That's where I would see the relationship as for me. Like when I'm in that place of procrastination, like to be honest, in the past, like a big part of it has been I don't see that bigger reason why, like we talked about last time. Like I haven't connected on a deeper level of like why this is so important. So I'm finding other things to do instead.
Yeah,
Um,
there's always plenty of other things to do to use as an excuse for not getting something done, right?
yeah, yeah.
Guilty.
So, I mean, just like earlier today, like I know that I'm not even going to say want, like I'm going to use the term need. I need to do this package, like put together this marketing package, and it's going to be beneficial for me because I can use all this stuff on my own social media. And what do? I start thinking about like, oh, is it time to open up a business checking account? What would I need to do in order to do that? Like, let me research all the different business checking accounts. Kate, we already did that. I already know which one I'm going to go with when I decide to open one. Like, but what did I do? Whoa, that's like a kind of a big, like, average balance that I need to have in there. Let me just double check the other ones. Nope. The one I'm going to go with is still the lowest. Like, still a good choice. Why are we researching again? And then what do I have? Like, literally the next page of my notebook is like a breakdown of my monthly expenses. And if I open a business account, what is the ripple effect going to be? Like, I'm going to need to create a new this and create a new this and transfer this over in this program and make sure that I change the payment info here. And it was at that point that I stopped and I'm like, hello, don't need to worry about a business account right now. We need to do social media. Okay. Like, we're not going to have any money coming in if I don't have any leads. So let's pause, refocus. But at least this time, like I had the awareness that I was doing that. So I made a new list of what I needed to get done with the marketing package. So
Yeah, to me, that what's funny is that sounds almost like, I don't want to say like a control issue, but I feel like you turn to the whole bank account thing maybe because like it's something that you can piece out, organize, control, like it's something to easily like take care of, because you're really good at like breaking things down into steps and do.
no, I think it's a distraction.
Yeah, like you're using that like as to distract your brain because it's something that your brain is so good at, almost like habit, rather than taking on this new venture that you've never done before. Well, not never, but like that you're not 100% comfortable with. Like it's a little bit outside your comfort zone.
Well, and I think that's what we can that's what procrastination is, it's like, it's not doing the things that are uncomfortable that you need to do that are going to get you to move forward.
That's what it is. That's what it is. All the things I procrastinate on, it's things that I feel really uncomfortable about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know, like maybe that's obvious to other people, but that just blew my mind. Like I didn't even realize that. Like all the things that I put off are things that make me really uncomfortable to think about. Like hiring somebody, I felt so overwhelmed. There's so much shit you have to learn about and you have to know in order to do that. And
Well,
I didn't even know where to start.
and the funny thing about that, to me, it just comes back to like, yes, you're right. But like what I was talking about earlier of like, there's always going to be so much like a mountain in front of us if we look at it like that, or it can be like, okay, we'll just do something to keep moving forward, and then like learn along the way. Like when I hired my employee, I just said, you know what? I like her. I think we're going to be good together. Let me check in with her. I liked what it was. And I'm like, hey, you want to start working for me? And I'm going to figure out the rest of it along the way.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could have had that attitude.
But I mean, for me, but think about it this way. Like for me, there was a huge need that I felt like I had a super big why for why I wanted to bring her on board. You know what I mean? So like I connected it to that deeper reason, and it didn't matter what my brain was saying and what my brain was allowing to get in the way. Like the why was bigger than that. And one of my favorite quotes that like this last year that I've actually had written in my office is like, I'm bigger than my fears and stronger than my doubts, or the other way around. I'm stronger than my fears and bigger than my doubts, and
that makes more sense.
Yeah, sorry. I had it backwards. But yeah, I'm stronger than my fears and bigger than my doubts. And like, even though a part of me, like going on to what we were talking about in our last episode of like your brain can't process a negative. And so I don't want to put out there like fear and doubt. But at the same time, I like that imagery because one of my other favorite quotes is courage is not the absence of fear, but the realization that something else is more important than fear. And I think when we know our why and we are really connected to that on a deeper level, like that's where the courage comes in to like I did earlier, stop writing the list about something that's not what needs to be focused on right now. Like that's not what needs to be done right now. What needs to be done right now is the thing that's going to allow you to help more people. And that's getting the word out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What are you thinking about?
Nothing,
I can tell you're thinking.
No, I was just trying to absorb everything that you were saying. You spit fire, Katie. Taking it all in. It's good stuff.
I know. That's why I got to start sharing it, because like
trying to figure out how your brain works.
You're trying to figure out how my brain works?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, good luck.
Because I know.
So just a side note, every time so far that we go to plan for like what we're going to talk about on here, like Lauren will kind of have an idea and then I will add to it, or like I'll come up with kind of two things or a few things to touch on. And she's like, I don't understand how any of that connects. I'm like, well, what do you mean?
That sounds like 3 different podcasts right there. I don't
know. And I'm like, what do you mean? They all connect. Like it's all interwoven. And she's like, I don't get it. And I'm like, okay. And so then I try and explain it. And she's like, kind of. I'm like, okay, let's just hit record and start talking because it all makes sense up here.
No, what happens is you start explaining yourself and then really good shit comes out. And then we're like, damn it, we should have been recording this whole time. That's what happens every time. Then you have to start all over again.
That's true. That's true. I'm just being lazy and I don't want to go through and edit like crazy. So
Oh, I don't blame you.
I wait to hit record. But we were talking beforehand that perhaps next time we'll just hit record as soon as we come on, and then whoever's listening can hear all of the what's it called, lovely chatter that just comes about.
All of the chaos that comes out of our brain.
Yeah.
The very beginning. It's like we just have to kind of like vomit our thoughts out in the beginning so that we
No,
kind of
I'm just
everything
trying to connect with
organized.
you. I'm just trying to connect. Like, I don't want to be all
Oh.
sounding all smart. I just want to like be me?
Aw, that's sweet. But you always sound smart, sorry.
Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. So I think that's cool. Like, follow me on Instagram, guys, if you haven't yet, or like me on Facebook, Katie Williamson Coaching. And by the time this is posted,
Sorry,
yeah,
my
my
phone's
phone will
ringing.
be going off because she forgot to put it on
Sorry.
silent. No. See how I
My
can't even
bad.
see how I can't even say it. But for reals, follow me and see how much content I've posted by the time, well, by the time you're listening to it. There better be a lot of stuff there, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. So y'all can hold me accountable. Um, if there's not, be like, Katie, come on, get on it. Um, which I probably won't get your message because I'll be in Guatemala, but that's okay.
Oh, let's talk about that a little bit. Just a
Okay.
little. How are you feeling about it? You
I
okay?
feel great. I'm
You're going to
excited.
Guatemala on a mission, right?
Yep, we're going to build a house and do some community work with the kids around there, and we do a little bit of medical stuff, not a ton. The main portion of it will be building a house, and then the last few days we'll get to spend in Antigua. So that'll be cool to kind of rest and recharge before coming back home.
Oh, that's exciting. But
Yeah.
you've done this before, right? This
Yep,
is
this
your
is
first
my second.
rodeo.
Yeah, this is my second time going with this group and to this area. And I will say, like, one of the super cool things for me when I went last time was like by far this is not my first mission trip whatsoever. I've gotten to do a lot of traveling, and a good portion of those, like, I've done some type of missions work. I mean, I've done a lot around the States and in California, but I've also done stuff down in Mexico and Colombia and Africa. Um, I've gotten to go to Japan before too, and like,
Wow.
yeah, and that's all just like mission stuff. I've done other traveling outside of that, but in all of those trips, I've done building projects. I've built houses before. I've done kids ministry type stuff. I've done things in Spanish. Thankfully, I've gotten to do stuff in English also. But it was so cool on this trip to Guatemala, also partly because I was going with a group that had never seen me in that context either. And so it was like, I mean, I guess this is what they call experience, but like, even though I hadn't been there, there wasn't anything that I was really surprised by. Like, we
Mm.
get to the building site and it's like, okay, like I'm comfortable here. I've done this before. Like, I'm grateful I'm not the one mixing cement because I've done that before. And like, let me just tell you, I'm super slow
That's
at
not
it, you
fun.
know? And like we start building the house or like I'm like, oh, sweet, they made the bricks beforehand. Like, whew, that's a lot of work too. I mean, usually the bricks are made beforehand because they have to sit out in the sun. But anyway, um, but like I've I know what to expect and I kind of know like how to do it. I'm still open to being shown. I'm not saying it like that, but it's just like it wasn't brand new stuff.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to have kind of like that comfort level of knowing what to expect, even though it was the first time I was there. And then when it came time for the VBS, it was super cool because sorry, that stands for Vacation Bible School. So it's really just like kind of a kids program with Bible stories and songs and games and crafts. Well, I've done that in America. I've done that like at a home church. I've done that traveling and bringing all the supplies. I've done that in Mexico. So I know the songs in Spanish. Like I know how to plan for crafts with a ton of kids and make it super easy. So, you know what I mean? Like, so I planned for all of that. And it was funny because the leader was like, Katie, like, this is awesome. This is the best one we've ever had. You're in charge of VBS every year. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh, I was like, I didn't ask for that.
Yeah, that wasn't my intention, but cool. Because guess what? Like, I can do that because I have all this experience with it, which that can be like a whole nother deal. I don't talk about it a lot, but like, I've pretty much done every job in the church you can think of. And anyway, so I am in charge of VBS again this year. And with COVID, it's different because we can't have large gatherings of kids. And also just, we want to keep the team safe. We want to keep the kids safe. We want to keep the people there who we're working with safe. And so it's kind of cool to like brainstorm and think of what we can do around that. And I was super happy and excited because what me and the other gal came up with was we're putting together individual bags of VBS essentially that we can pass out to the kids, and everything's included in it. So we're doing 2 different types of bags, and it has a Bible story with coloring pages with it, which I was super happy because like we found a free version, but it wasn't a coloring page. And so I actually like figured out how to kind of combine the two, which I was just really proud of. So anyway, we'll have a Bible story in Spanish that is like a coloring book, I guess. It's just 4 pages, or 1 page folded front and back. Details, sorry, they don't matter. And then the bag has like crayons in it, a craft that goes along with the Bible story, some stickers, and I think that might be it. But it's like everything's going to be in the bag, and we have two different versions. So we have like 100 that we're bringing with us to give to the kids. And, we can do it with them at the building site, kind of more like one-on-one, but, or in super small groups, but we're not going to have like a big gathering. So, so that was cool to put together. So we'll be doing the house and that and traveling in the time of COVID. And so I'm a little nervous about that. I'm just hoping that all of the travel goes smoothly. So that's, just because you have to have like negative tests and you can't have a fever and blah, blah, blah. So don't worry, I'm bringing a thermometer and Motrin with me. So just in case I do have a fever, I can like still get on the plane,
You'll sneak in. Oh, you're
yeah.
so bad. Don't
Well, okay. Well, I should rephrase that. What?
So don't let the government hear you say that.
I know. Maybe I'll edit that part out.
Now.
I should edit that out. But the point, like the reason why I'm doing that is because I am getting vaccinated for COVID.
Like the day that you leave, huh?
Yeah. And so my concern is that some people have a side effect of just like 24 hours, they're not feeling well and they have a fever. And so I'm going to have a negative COVID test, to show I don't have COVID, and I'm going to have both vaccines done. But my concern is just that, like, what if like that's not enough? Because if I do happen to get sick from the second vaccine, and it's just,
yeah.
I couldn't take it earlier because of the timing and when they were offering it in our area, blah, blah, blah. And for me,
you're even lucky that you got it at all, honestly.
Yeah.
Blessing right there.
Yeah. So that's why I say, like, I'm not trying to fly sick. Like,
no, I know. I was just kidding. We're just teasing.
I know, but everybody else doesn't know that. So I just want them to know I'm not like trying to go infect everybody. It's if I have a fever, it would be from the vaccine. And I'm just putting out positive vibes and, hoping that everything goes smooth. So there's no reason why it shouldn't. And I'm just like praying, all this work has gone into like getting there. So, or like putting this together. So, I'm just praying that everything goes super smooth. Like on that last little leg,
Yeah. Yeah. And if it doesn't, then I'm sure you'll figure it out because that's what you're good at. And
True.
it'll work out.
Ugh.
Like like you said in a previous podcast, you always like to think of every situation possible so you can be prepared for it. So,
So why do you think I'm bringing a thermometer and Motrin just in case?
yep.
Oh my
That's me
gosh.
for you.
Right?
Always play it. Always prepared. I mean, always prepared.
Oh my goodness. I'm crazy. But
Because you don't procrastinate. See, that's what not procrastinating leads to.
I am not going to proclaim that I don't procrastinate, because if you know me, you will be laughing at that statement. I'm notorious for packing the morning of, and like,
Really? That seems so unlike you.
oh yeah, there's just something about the thrill of like, ooh, I hope I
Oh
make
my
it.
gosh, no.
It's the
For
adrenaline
real?
side of me. No, I know I'm gonna make it. Like I plan enough time to make it, but
Yeah,
um
you know you're an adult when you have to create exciting scenarios for yourself. Like, I'm gonna wait till the last minute to pack.
no, there's more that goes into it than that. Usually like things are just kind of crazy. So it's, I'm like, I like to focus on just one thing at a time. And so it's like, oh, okay, I need to go get all this stuff. And um,
It's about breaking it down into baby steps, huh?
yeah. And my
Yeah.
dog gets really stressed when the suitcase comes out. I know there's ways to like condition
Oh.
that, but that's part of why I've like started packing at like the very, very last minute, because she gets
Oh.
like,
Yeah.
it breaks my heart. She like, I'll start laying clothes out on the bed, and she'll either go under the bed for a long time and not come out, or then when I do, like, I'll pull her out and hold her and stuff, and then like I'll get back to packing and I'll turn around and she's like laid on my clothes with her head on them, just like staring at me. And oh, it makes me so sad.
Why do they have to make it so hard?
I know, she's so sweet though, and I have a really great like house sitter and stuff, so
Okay, I might need a number then because got my Belize trip coming up, and that's my
yeah.
biggest worry is my babies, my pets. Oh my god!
Aw.
Every time I think about it, I get anxiety.
No, I think if you find someone good, then it's all good. And PS, I do have a house alarm, okay? So like don't, like, now y'all know I'm not
We didn't give any dates
actually,
or anything.
huh?
I said we didn't say any dates or anything. I don't think.
Well, when it goes live, but actually, I think when this goes live, when it's scheduled to air, I'll be coming home that day. So I'll have been in Guatemala. I'll just be on my way home. So
Okay, that's good then.
yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't think you guys know where I live, so
I do.
yeah, that's true. Also not a challenge. Also not a challenge.
No,
Um,
for real, if you need anybody to take care of anything while you're gone,
Thank
I
you.
got your back.
Thank you.
Okay.
Funny story. I wasn't watching the time too. We're probably like way over.
Oh, we got
Um,
like 13 minutes
oh,
before hitting.
so funny story. This was like one of the best things. A few months ago now, I think maybe in January, I got a message from one of my friends that I go down to Mexico, or that I went down to Mexico with last year. And he was like, "Hey, Katie, I'm working, like, since over quarantine, I've been working on this TV show. And this episode is coming up. Would you be interested in being on it?" I'm like, "Heck yeah. Are you kidding me?" Like, yes.
Katie's also an actress.
Yeah, like I get to be on camera. What? Sign me up. So he told me a premise about the show. It's like about this guy who all this stuff happened, like bad stuff happens right before quarantine, right? So he like gets kicked out of his sister's, living with his sister, and his girlfriend breaks up with him, and blah blah blah, whatever. And so it's kind of like this show of like him handling quarantine. And so he sees a therapist and like she encourages him to do online dating. And so my character, I got to play one of the people that he meets like online dating first date. Oh my gosh, you guys. First of all, I just had such a good time. Second of all, I think that it was so funny. Like may or may not have pulled from real life experiences. I'll just leave that there. But the way that they did it, so we recorded it on Zoom, and the director, like, so the guy who was recording it, he had it also streaming on YouTube Live, like privately. And so that's how the director was watching. So that way he could like see what it was without, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so, oh my gosh. Anyway, it was funny. I was just like, so here's what I was told to play. Tell me if you think I fit this mold, okay? So
Okay.
I was told to play someone who like seems pretty normal, but then is like batshit crazy once they start like talking, you know? And I was like, okay, I got this. I'm just gonna be me, but like ramped up a few notches, okay? I got this in the bag, guys. Let's go.
Oh
And
man.
so, oh my gosh, I think it was so funny. And so my like weird quirky thing was that I guess on my dating profile, like I had listed like I enjoy exotic delicacies or something, but it was supposed to be, in reality, it was that I like to eat crickets or like insects basically from different countries. I'm like, okay, first of all, that's
Oh.
gross. But like people are like that. Okay. So, and I had like a connection to it because when my grandma first started doing mission stuff, I remember her telling me this story where I can't remember what country she was in, but they had gotten a cab or whatever, and the cab driver was eating these like chips, it seemed like, and yada yada. Well, he turns around and starts talking to them, and it wasn't chips, it was crickets, and he had one stuck in between his teeth, and she was so grossed out by it. And so anyway, so like that's what I was thinking of, you know, when he was talking about it and or telling me
Please
this.
tell me you ate crickets and got one stuck in your tooth.
Ew, no.
Dang it.
That's so gross, Lauren. But I was doing
Be
like
real
crazy.
crickets.
What?
It didn't have to be real crickets, but
How
just
would you fake that?
Oh my god, that'd be so funny.
Ew. No, I wasn't eating them on screen, but one of the things I did do was because in my experience on like dating apps and stuff, um, like I've had people actually I've had this happen even just in regular life, like meet someone and like right away they start asking about like where I live or like um just being kind of like I just get a weird vibe from it, you know? And so like I said, I'm pulling out all the stops in this show, right? So I kept trying to get at like where this guy lived. And so oh my gosh. It was so funny. I was like, I think I asked him, oh, I kept asking him for his address because I was like, oh, I'll just order you some crickets off of Amazon. Can I have your address? And he's like, I just met you. I'm not giving that to you. I'm like, oh, come on. I'll just erase it afterwards. It's not like I'm gonna like Google map your house or something or like do a drive-by just to find out if anyone's over. And like I was just being all crazy. And he's like, uh that was like his face most of the time. But yeah, it should be. I think he's working on editing them. He filmed everything for the first season, and it all came together super cool. So I think he was doing like a GoFundMe to finish up the editing, and then was going to post them and stuff. So
You don't have a release date yet?
I can't remember. I'll have to look it up and see. I know he was putting together a highlight reel. And it wasn't like my funniest line, I felt like, but it's also not my show, so that's okay. I was saying that about the YouTube Live because when the director came back on, so the whole thing was like, hey, we're gonna do like one take or whatever, and then the director will come back on and give any feedback of, you know, if we need to add something in or like make some connecting pieces to help the episode flow and like all of that, right? So we finish, and the director joins the Zoom call, and he's like, Katie, that was freaking brilliant. I was dying laughing. Like, where did that come from? Not that he doesn't know me, but just like, how does your mind come up with that stuff? Like, that was hysterical. He was like, there are so many one-liners we can use. Like, I can't even think about, like, where did you come up with this stuff? I'm like,
Oh my gosh, can't wait to see it.
oh, it was so much fun. So I had a good time. I love doing stuff like that. And, I also really love like partnering with people. That's what I've realized is a huge motivator for me. Like when I get to help other people live out their dreams, and that's when it gets to be super fun for me. So that's also why I like coaching, because I get to help people realize and believe like what's inside of them and actually make it happen, especially with nutrition too. It's been such a long road for me learning how to fuel my body with food and figure out a way to eat foods that like I actually love. And like it doesn't have to be boring or bland or, go out and buy like $200 worth of stuff from Whole Foods that you can't even pronounce because you're trying to be healthy.
That's exactly why I started my business.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's so cool, like the process that I do with the health coaching, because, yeah, it's a lot of work on our end, to put together the meal plans and, all of that, because everything is super customized for every single client. And it's all based on like, what are the foods that you love? What foods do you hate? What food can't you live without? And like, what appliances do you have in your kitchen? When do you enjoy cooking? How often do you want to prep? How often do you want to repeat a meal?
Wow, I had no idea it was that customized.
Oh yeah,
Because
like,
normally when you think meal plan, you think, okay, macros and calories, that kind of customized. But this goes
well,
way deeper
oh
than
yeah, what do you already have in your pantry?
that.
What do you typically have in your house? What dietary restrictions do other people in your household have? Last week I did a meal plan for a husband and wife. And so we actually like it was almost like a joint meal plan. So it was like made sure that the dinners were the same, but they were portioned to match each of the macros for each person. And then there was diversity in the breakfasts and lunches because they had different schedules and weren't going to be eating together. But, even like customized that way. And it's cool because with some of the feedback that we've gotten from the clients, I keep saying we because I also have a nutritionist who's super close to becoming a registered dietitian on board too, which is super awesome because then we can take insurance, hopefully in a few months. So that's one of my goals. But so I say we because like, we kind of work on it together. But we got some feedback that it would be really helpful too if like all of the breakfasts had like similar macros. So they could swap those out on the meal plans. Like if they wanted if they really liked the breakfast from option 4, then they could just eat that every day because the macro content is similar across the board. So it gives even more diversity. So anyway, the reason why like I started health coaching and why I go so in depth is because that was one of the big barriers for me. And like, when I would work out and, talk to trainers about getting a meal plan, like I would get the meal plan and it's like, okay, I can't eat almonds. Like they upset my stomach. I don't know why, but I can't eat raw almonds. They make me nauseous. So it was like I would see it and I felt so difficult because I wanted to change everything. And then it was like, that wasn't really part of the plan or the program, And it wasn't until I started doing it for myself that I started to realize like, sorry, there's Lola again. This is like episode with Lola. Like it wasn't until I started doing it for myself and understanding the macros that I realized like how much more fun, like it was really about a lifestyle change and habit change, and it's sustainable because I'm eating the foods that I love and I'm fueling my body with it. And I don't feel like I'm depriving my body. I'm eating for my body, and adjusting based off of that. So it's so cool because it's like I said, yeah, it takes a lot of work because we're taking all of that into account when we create these meal plans. And, the cool thing is that like all of the clients who have like we've been working with so far, they see the meal plan and we go over it together and it's like, oh, well, I already have all that stuff at home. I'm like, I know that's the point. And it's like, oh, well, I actually really like these meals. There's just like a few adjustments in it. And we're like, yeah, that's the point, you know? And it's like, okay, I'm not willing to give up my wine. And it's like, okay, well, 2 days a week, we actually worked those macros into your meal plan. So you don't have to, And it's like, it's making the rules super easy to win, which we've talked about a lot, and helping people realize that like, food isn't the enemy. It can actually like be really fun and enjoyable and sustainable. And you don't have to eat boiled chicken and rice and broccoli for every meal until you lose 20 pounds and then gain it all back because you start going back to old habits.
Wow. Okay. There's so much that I want to ask you about in regards to that. Um, but I feel like we should
Why? Just do it.
podcast on that.
Just do it.
Okay.
If
Wow.
people don't want to listen, then catch us next time or like pause it and come back.
So,
okay.
first of all, I'm usually very anti-diet plans, meal plans, diet plans, whatever you want to call them. I just don't think that they're like long-term sustainable. I think it complicates it more for people than necessary, and I can go on forever, but when you talk about it like that, wow, that's a whole different kind of meal plan. That's
Yep.
that's kind of more like a life
Yep.
nutrition plan. But they still have to eat what's on the plan, right? Like it's still restrictive in that sense where you have to stick to the plan.
Yes and no. Like,
It's still measuring macros and calories, right?
yeah, but it's still fluid. So for example, Caitlin, my nutritionist, we met with a client yesterday and, we were talking about, the client was going to be going out of town for work. And she was like, okay, so I already know tomorrow night I'm eating out for dinner. And I said, okay, well, use the meal plan as a guide. So look at option 4. The meal plan already has option 4, a glass of wine, salmon, a quarter cup of brown rice, and green vegetables. So think about that when you're going out. Can you order the salmon? And she was saying, oh, I probably can't have bread at dinner, right? And it's like, okay, well, if you're already allocated a quarter cup of brown rice or half a cup of brown rice, whatever it was at dinner, and you really want the bread beforehand, then have a slice of bread beforehand while you're waiting for your food, and don't get brown rice for dinner. Don't have a baked potato for dinner. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's also teaching like how to look for those swaps and eat, like, to not be restrictive about it. Because if you're going to be super restrictive, then, like, don't think about how much you enjoy bread. Like, don't eat bread. Don't eat bread. That's all you're going to crave because all you're thinking about is eating bread.
Yeah, that's my problem.
So
my problem is the entire basket of bread is in front of me and I want to have 5 slices, not one.
yeah. So, I mean, that gets into like a mindset piece of it. And this is why I offer different levels of coaching. So I have level 1 is, you can do the intake form and just get meal plans. So you can.
I didn't think your meal plans were like that.
Yep. So you can get the meal plan. It's customized to you, your macros, all of that, and that's all you get. The second level of coaching, I shouldn't say all you get. It's pretty extensive, you know. The second level of coaching is you get the meal plan, but then you get 2 30-minute sessions with the nutritionist a month. So that, and that's just nutrition focused. So it's answering those questions of, okay, well, I'm going out to dinner, you know, what can I do? Or, you know, I don't like this for breakfast. What can I have instead? Or can I swap out quinoa instead of brown rice because of X, Y, and Z? Or how can I drink more water because I hate the taste of plain water? Can I have this? You know, so it's focusing on just the physical health side of questions. And you get 2 30-minute sessions a month with that. Or you can have the level 3 coaching, which adds in the like mind, body, spirit connection. So it's like, okay, what are the barriers that you're experiencing? You know, what areas are you struggling with? What things are going well? Let's get deeper into the motivation, having the accountability to really stick with it and make a change. Because we all know what to do. You know, we all know not to eat 5 slices of bread and just have one. But it's having so the third level of coaching goes deeper into how can I develop the skills and the mindset that I need to be successful when I'm faced with those tempting situations.
Yeah, that's the kind of coaching that I like to endorse and preach and support. I think that's
But everybody's at a different point, you know? So for some people, they're not ready to have that level of accountability, or they don't want that in-depth look, or they feel like it's not valuable for some reason, or they're just not ready for it.
That people tend to eventually sign up for the higher level, like if they are struggling with following the meal plans.
I mean, it just depends. Like, I'm not at a point yet where people have like maxed out of their contracts.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So, I'm not at that point of like, I don't want to say upselling, but you know, enrolling people in higher level of coaching. But I have a mix of people who have signed up for level 2 and 3. Which is cool. You know, I'm able to offer services to wherever people are. And like, you know, I get that, you know, you feel like, level 3 is where it's at, but like, so is level 2. You know, there's a lot of us out there. I mean, myself included, like, I didn't know how to eat to fuel my body, you know, and I definitely would have benefited from level 2 coaching, you know, so there's nothing bad about the different levels. It just helps people wherever they're at. And like I said, the whole big thing to me is that it's super customizable. And, you know, we do put in a lot of work, like creating everything to make sure that it's like super easy for the person. And then we build on it every month, you know? So by the time they're done with coaching, there's a lot of options that they have for.
It's not just the same meal plan forever and ever. It progresses as they
and
do.
changes. Yeah.
Okay.
And depending on their goals too.
So one more question. Because I got to work with Caitlin for 3 weeks. So I got to know her a little bit. And from what I remember, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that she was one of the future dietitians who was really, really supportive of intuitive eating. Am I correct? And she even turned me on to a podcast and some things about intuitive eating. And so I'm wondering, like, her perspective on working on meal plans for people, and like, how do those meal plans tie in with intuitive eating? Because I hear those two words as like complete opposites, as like those two different things can't live in the same world together. So that's where I'm a little confused too.
Yeah, I mean, it might be worth like bringing her in for the next episode and having her talk.
I was gonna suggest that, but I didn't know if I should suggest it live. I was gonna say like, oh my gosh, we should totally bring Caitlin in.
She's so awesome.
Podcast with her.
Yeah, and I think it would be a good opportunity, like for people to get to know her and,
Yes.
just hear her vision. Like, I will say that, like, one of the reasons why I hired her was because, um, I really felt like our viewpoints were the same. And, the way that she views nutrition and what she values about it is very in alignment with me and my views too. So I was super excited to bring her on board and excited for the growth that we can experience over the next few months and beyond because of her. So yeah, I don't have enough good things to say about her because she's really awesome.
I hope her ears are burning right now.
What was that?
I said, I bet her ears are burning right now.
So we actually talked about intuitive eating super briefly yesterday, and that's why I want her to speak to it a little bit more in a future episode. But it's, if I'm remembering correctly and can explain it correctly, the piece of the meal plan that's fluid, like I said, the part of, okay, so for example, this one meal plan, for this client is 1,350 calories. Okay. And, or 1,500, but the client brings up like, oh, I see I don't have a snack on this day. What do I do if I'm hungry? And Caitlin's response was, I'm going to send you some options for additional like snacks or like 100-calorie snacks. But if your body is hungry, if it's truly hungry, then feed it because it's telling you something. So go ahead and have a 100-calorie snack and fuel your body. Don't starve your body. Another question that came up was, I know I'm going out to eat to dinner on this particular day. Should I skip lunch or eat less at lunch and breakfast to kind of save those calories? And she said, no, like your body needs fuel. So eat what it needs and like just make sure to plan for that and be aware of that at dinner. So it's an interesting concept because it's kind of, to me, I see it again in coaching. We talk about making the rules easy to win, and I see a deeper level in this of, there's going to be accountability with if clients aren't getting the results that they want, like they have the tools. So perhaps it's something else that's getting in the way. This is where the next level of coaching can come in of, okay, so is it a problem with, maybe it's, am I actually hungry? What do I really need right now? Am I emotionally eating or am I eating because my body does need something? But it's tuning into the cues and learning to listen and respond in that way. The other piece of that is like looking at it as understanding that, okay, like the brown rice example, there is brown rice on the meal plan, but teaching people about macros so they can understand that, oh, I can swap out this brown rice for bread because that's what I want tonight. Or I can have, half of an English muffin because that sounds better to me than rice. You know what I mean? And so there's that intuitive piece where it's not restrictive of I have to stick to it completely like it says, but part of the coaching is teaching the clients, okay, what do macros mean? How can I fuel my body and make it sustainable and like building healthy habits? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's really cool that you guys work in tandem like that. Even with like what most people would see as opposite viewpoints, you guys, it's actually like I don't know, it works. You
It's
found a
both.
way. You found a way to make it work together, and
Mhm.
that's interesting. That's very cool. I feel like that's something I've never seen done before. Maybe I'm probably wrong, but you know.
Well, and again, it's like, that's why I want to start talking about what I do, because I haven't seen it done like this before. To the level, like to the in-depth level that we're getting, again, like we're making the rules super easy to win for people. And all the clients that I've been working with so far, like checking in with them, they're like, I'm not having cravings, like I'm not hungry, I have more energy, like this is really easy to follow because it's food that I love, like I'm not tired of it. Um and we're just continuing to take feedback and make it better. Like I said, in the beginning we were giving 4 options so people could like mix and match in the week. And then we thought, you know what, let's expand it to 7 options. And now we're making, like I was mentioning, all of the breakfasts similar macros. So within those 7 options, if there's one breakfast you like more than another, you can swap them out. So then you can create your own days out of meals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, this sounds like something I might be interested in trying myself. Just because it's something I've never tried before, just to see what it's all about and see how I respond to it and see if it would work for me. I'm always down to
Yay.
try new things.
That's awesome.
Talk about that later.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, and yeah, the more I do it, like the more I just keep getting excited about it, because like it took me a long time to get to this point on my own. And we're getting to offer a service to people to like speed up that what's it called? Like that trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
And we have experts both in nutrition and in coaching to provide the support to, like, you don't have to do it on your own. Like if your weight isn't adjusting, then guess what? You have another meeting with the nutritionist to adjust stuff and figure out why it's not working. Like you don't have to adjust it on your own. You can just come with the issues that you're having and work with a professional to fix it.
I'm sold. Sign me up. Take my money.
So I just love it so much. And I'm so excited to like have had this vision and finally getting to see it come to fruition and like actually help people make lasting change. That's what's so cool. Like mind, body, and spirit, and some people don't like talking about spirit and whatever, but to me, it's just like, it's that inner alignment, that like life is good because your mind and body are.
I would argue it's the most important part.
Well, I would too, but I'm just saying it makes some people uncomfortable.
For good reason. I think that's understandable, Usually the things that we're most uncomfortable with are the ones that need to be worked on. Just like procrastination.
Or that we procrastinate on, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Super cool.
Well, at least we ended it on the word that we started it on.
Hey, it always comes full circle.
Yeah. Right.
I am a firm believer in that. So yeah. If you're listening and stuck it out this far, I hope that you took some nugget from something that we said, and are encouraged in some way to go after the things that maybe you're uncomfortable with and procrastinating on. If any of the health stuff interests you, I'm going to say check out my Instagram and Facebook because there's going to be info there. But for reals, like I would love to connect with you and hear about your goals and what you're struggling with, and how the coaching that I do can help, because I know it can. So yeah. Please reach out.
Me and Katie work together now, and I send a lot of my meal prep clients to her. And so if you want to not stress about what to eat or cooking yourself, if that's just not your thing, then check out my meal prep company. And maybe Katie will throw a couple of my meals onto your meal plan too, if you like my food.
Yeah, for sure. So that's definitely an option. If you want to order meals from Lauren at Precision Prep, and you also want to do the meal plan, we're working out. I wish we had it already ironed out, but in the future, at some point, there's going to be a discount on
Yeah.
something for like a double order. If you're doing coaching.
We're working on hooking you guys up for some kind of dual deal.
Yeah, but that is definitely possible. We are like separate businesses, so we do work in affiliation, but it's not like if you get coaching with me, then you get free meals with Lauren or vice versa. But we are working out like some type of plan if you want to do both. So stay tuned for that. Or check out our like social media. Maybe by the time this airs, we'll have something ironed out, but who knows?
That's another thing we've been procrastinating on.
Yeah, we haven't figured out those details yet, but that's coming. And but just know that that's possible. That we can create a meal plan that's around the Precision Prep meals and make sure that your macros are dialed in, and yeah, help you lose weight, get healthy, gain weight also if that's a goal. We don't really talk about that side of it, but that's wrapped up into this too. Like it's not just a one size fits all type of program. Any of your goals that you want is just a matter of adjusting your macros to meet what you want, and that's what we do. So yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Well, this was a fun episode.
Yeah, it was. Kind of long, but it's okay.
Oh well.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, guys, and we will talk to you soon.
See you later. Thanks for listening to this episode of Beyond the Bowl. If you're interested in saving time and energy and having your fridge stocked with healthy meals that require zero preparation, check out my meal prep company, Precision Prep. You can learn more at precisionprepvisalia.com or follow me on social media at Precision Prep Visalia.
And if you want to find out how to eat the foods you love and still reach your health goals, then schedule a session at KatieWilliamsonCoaching.com or connect with me on social media at Katie Williamson Coaching. We look forward to seeing you next time.